There was a lot of talk about President Obama's red line regarding Syria's use of chemical weapons against its own civilians in 2013. Obama was and continues to be scorched by conservatives for having taken no action. What is so conveniently forgotten is that at the time there was a great deal of complaining about an imperial presidency, about presidents taking the country to war without the required consent of Congress. So Obama went to Congress and asked for an official authorization for the use of force in Syria. Big surprise. The Republican majority Congress refused to even bring it up for a vote. Now President Trump is faced with his first foreign crisis created by President Bashar al-Assad of Syria, having yet again attacked his own citizens with sarin gas. Strangely, Trump has done a turnaround from his repeated warnings to Obama in 2013 to avoid any entanglement with Syria. Trump's cautions followed Assad having just attacked his people with sarin gas. We saw the horrific pictures then, and Trump was adamant that Obama not take action. Now Trump is all about taking action, although nothing substantive has changed on the ground since 2013. President Trump, the Don't Touch Syria guy, launched 59 Tomahawk missiles into the Al-Sharat airfield near Homs, Syria on April 6. The attack was only symbolic in that it won't significantly change Assad's military advantage or the Syrian civil war. The fundamental of decision-making is to start by declaring a vision of a better tomorrow, the why you do what you do. Once that is articulated, the next step is to identify what you will do to create that vision. That's the strategy, the what stuff. Last is to decide on the tactics, the how you will do the what stuff. So somebody please tell me what Trump's vision is. No, not the marketing slogans he spouts endlessly, but the vision. What is the better tomorrow he wants to create? Okay, that's too hard. So let's go to the strategies. What are Trump's strategies? Come on, name just one. Okay, that's too hard too. Let's name a tactic. Oh, right, he launched Tomahawk missiles in reaction to Assad's reprehensible behavior, with Trump claiming he was deeply changed by what he saw, which, as noted, was essentially exactly what he saw in 2013 when he wasn't deeply moved by what he saw, and he advised President Obama not to interfere in Syria. Those Tomahawk missiles were launched in direct conflict with Trump's own policy view and that of his chief strategist, Steve Bannon. It's America first, they tell us. So what does a foreign civil war in the Middle East have to do with us, and why should we get involved? Also, what strategy does the tactic of firing missiles serve? Bet you can't name one. Try this. Trump has had failure after failure since he assumed office. He's been found to be woefully lacking as a leader, and his approval rating has been in free fall. Now, instead of leading, he has become merely reactionary to external events and has fired off missiles at a Syrian airfield, an act which will change not very much in that civil war and which leads to nothing because it's connected to nothing. Nevertheless, he will claim that the Tomahawk missile attack is proof that he is a strong leader. Listen for that at a Sean Spicer press briefing soon, maybe already. Future events may show that attacking the Al-Sharat airfield was the right thing to do to prevent further attacks on Syrians by chemical weapons, barrel bombs, and other munitions. It may become clear that this attack was necessary to protect American troops in the area and to prevent transfer of chemical weapons to third parties who might use them in the U.S. The world might prove to be overwhelmingly in favor of taking action against the atrocities Assad creates. However, it is sadly most likely that Trump's decision to deploy our weapons was actually done to help Donald Trump rally domestic support for himself and to prop up his miserable approval ratings. As the Syrian people continue to suffer, they are still banned by this president from coming to this country for refuge from that awful war, even as Trump has puffed himself up on Tomahawk missiles. In other news, Senator Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, made quite a name for himself in 2015 by trying to scuttle the Iran nuclear deal our diplomats were working hard to create. He wrote a letter and got 46 of his Republican senator pals to sign it and sent it off to the leaders of Iran. The letter essentially gave a lesson about our Constitution to the Iranians, with a clear implication that they should not trust those in the American administration with whom they were negotiating. Our national history is that partisan disputes have always stopped at the water's edge. Only the president negotiates with foreign powers, and we stand united relative to the rest of the world. Undermining the president, as Cotton did, could easily be described as treason. That's why it's so odd to see Cotton being interviewed so frequently on cable news shows now, as though he's an honest broker. Someone please tell me why any American should listen to him. And finally, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell claimed throughout 2016 that he wouldn't give a hearing to President Obama's Supreme Court nominee because presidents never nominate to the court in their last year in office. And of course, McConnell was right, except for Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Roosevelt, Dwight Eisenhower, and more. There's a link in the written blog if you'd like to read more about it. Now McConnell has used the so-called nuclear option to break a filibuster and the Senate permanently so that he could jam his preferred candidate onto the court. And some wonder why the public's trust in government is around 19%. I'm Jack Altshuler.